What's up? This is Jordan Gray from Half Lit and DopelivenTV.
Hey, this your boy Don Ritchie representing the Midwest 219 Stand Up.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Lamar Tate.
This is your girl, Monifa.
Hey, what up? It's your man Dave Hollister from Blackstreet.
You know what this is right here. This Trigger Tretch in the building.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your boy Jason Weaver, and whenever I'm back home in the Chi, I'm checking out Dope Living TV.
Hey, it's your girl, Adina Howard, and you're watching Dope Living TV, live with Greg Gray and the crew.
Hey, that wasn't supposed to be up there. My bad. Let's do this over. Anyway, what's up? It's your boy Greg Gray, Dope Living TV Live. The views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV Live are not necessarily the views of Dope Living TV or its affiliates. So now that I'm over here trying to erase these pictures that Gina should have erased a long time ago, and now I can't erase them. Hold up. Wait a minute. I'm gonna do this. Just a second, y'all. Script. Man, every picture coming up now. Look at this. All right, hold on. I got you. Boy, don't y'all hate when we have it. Anyway, look. Welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in. We're glad everybody can get a chance to hang out with us again today. Today, man, we are talking. Look, a lot of stuff went down this weekend in the name of what do you call it? In the name of being, what do I want to say? Hold on, y'all. Let me do this. Hold on, my father. Okay, let me get him off. Man, this is not working right at all, Gina. What's going on? Let me bring Gina on here. I'm sorry. What's up, girl?
They can't see me.
They can't see me either.
What did you do?
I don't know. You should have had these pictures deleted.
Those your pictures.
You should have had them deleted.
That's the technical difficulty.
So it's like every time I put a picture up and I try to delete it.
I don't even see those pictures. That's the crazy part. I don't even see them on my end.
Well, I don't know how to get to. Well, yeah, I do know.
They not even over here.
It is what it is. That's Ron Reed, y'all voices opinions show. But anyway, look, let's add another place that we can't go to have some peace. You know what I'm saying? I heard that over the weekend there were some graduations, and I'm gonna get this picture off in a minute. There's some graduations, and there was some violence at the graduations.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? Gina, talk for a minute while I get this pictures on.
Okay, yes. It's sad to say it was a high school graduation, and the graduation was going very well. Kids and their families are celebrating what should have been a heart-filled time, happy and something to remember, positive to remember. And here we have a shooting at a high school graduation, and it's just sad to say that every time we turn on the news, we pick up a newspaper or we turn the news on the television, we're seeing this now on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous.
But the thing that really blew my mind, and it's something we're going to talk about today along with our guests, they had almost the highest police force there as security. How can something happen? How can something like this happen when you have one of the top police forces as security? Isn't that the reason that you have security there? And it sounds like to me that the school went over and beyond to get the top security that they could get in order to keep everyone safe. And it didn't come out like that.
Well, see, I guess now they're just going to have it so that the graduates can only see themselves graduate. Okay, let's bring the people on, man. What's going on, Marcella?
Hey,
Hey,
how are
Marcy.
you doing? Hey.
Chilling. What's going on, Kev? Kev?
Hey,
Kev.
Kev.
Here we go with this Gina stuff you doing.
Kevin.
Well, that's okay. You muted me.
No, did I?
Yeah,
Oh.
you muted me.
He doing all kind of stuff today. Like we need
What
to
is
tie
going
his we need to tie his hands behind his back.
Yep.
That's kind of sexy. What we're gonna do after we?
I was gonna say he would like that. He would get very
Hey,
excited.
I got a Greggy poem for that.
For
Oh,
sure,
no.
yes, sir.
No.
Hey, what's going on, Luciana Young? Ron Reed said, keep that picture up there. Nah, bro, I can't do it.
Hey, Ron.
Hey,
What's going on?
Ryan.
Hey, appreciate it. Brenda.
Hey,
Brenda.
Brenda. She said,
Hey, Tree.
congratulations, Westside.
Luciana.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maurice Tate, what's going on?
Maurice,
Good.
hey,
Maurice.
Brenda.
What's going on, buddy?
How's
I'm
it
crazy.
going?
Don't worry about it, bro. I got you. Trey, what you laughing at? She just laughed like Maurice put pictures up. She just laughed for no reason, all right? Anyway, man, we're gonna have a great show today. Okay, we're gonna touch on that, but we got a young lady, man, that's sitting in the wings, man. She has a compelling story. She is she's beautiful, number one. All right, and y'all know I love the beautiful women. All right.
I will cut you.
She all right.
She said, "I will cut you
out.
She all right.
Cut you.
Yeah, all right, but Marcy, introduce her. What's going on, Angie? What's going on, Lanita? Hey, appreciate you.
Okay. Imagine
Hey.
imagine going about your day, planning your weekend, planning your next week, having a beautiful family, a law-abiding citizen, and then you wake up that morning thinking all is well, but by the evening you're handcuffed, and you're being told there's a possibility of facing maybe 20 years in federal prison.
20 of them things.
That's a horrific horror story, right?
Yeah.
Let's our guest tonight is going to walk us through her journey of her horrific story. Let's welcome Mrs. Jaretha Lee.
Let's go, Jaretha. What's up?
Hi, Jaretha. Welcome.
Hi. Hello, everybody.
Honestly.
Hey, you don't look like a convict.
Oh, well, we don't look like what we've been through.
Right. You're not supposed to look like what
Right.
you've been through.
Yes.
I'm just joking. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. We appreciate you coming through.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
So yeah, that could be terrible. You just going across the border, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then you get stopped and handcuffed, and they say, "Hey, you ain't going nowhere." I mean, how did that feel?
And what
Well,
happened?
it blew me away because it's kind of like reality set in what I found myself in the midst of. And I was I had never been across the border. I had never been to Canada. And it felt like my whole world was tumbling down. But the one thing that stayed on my mind was, how am I going to get out of this? And my kids were on my mind because, my kids are my world. And so I didn't know what to think. I was scared and I didn't know what was going to happen from that point. I just knew that something terrible was happening and I needed to find out what was going on, just as well as all of the agents wanted to find out what was going on.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, you went over there for a vacation or something like that, just to go visit?
No. So what originally happened, I was dating this guy, and one morning we were in Illinois, and we were supposed to be taking a trip to Michigan. And that morning we got up to go, and he said that we had a change of plans. And so we went about, we're not going to Michigan. We're going to just go to Michigan for not the weekend, but for the day. And I said, okay. So all of our belongings were still left at the hotel. We stopped by one of his friend's house, everything seemed normal, nothing out of the ordinary. He went in his friend's house. I stayed in the car, and I was in the car for a long period of time. After he left, I heard his cell phone ringing. Before we left, his cell phone was ringing and ringing and ringing. Still nothing out of the ordinary to raise any type of red flags. But when before we got on the highway, we stopped by the gas station. He came and he asked me to drive. So, okay, no big deal. So as we're driving to Detroit, he's smoking weed the entire ride there. So, nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, that's what he did. He smoked weed. And so once we got to Detroit, he asked me to he gets out, he meets someone, and I'm thinking we are getting ready to go eat because he asked me what did I want to eat, did I want to go shopping, all the things that I like to do pretty much. And I said, okay. And so when he gets back in the car, he's, all upset, and he's like, I can't believe this is happening. And he's going on and on about how upset he is. And then he tells me, he said, I have some business to take care of. Do you mind going to play at the casino? Now, at that time, I wasn't aware that there were casinos in Detroit. And so if you've ever been to Detroit, Detroit and Canada is right there together. So, it's right there. So I didn't think anything of it. But he was like, you still have your birth certificate in your purse, which I carried this old birth certificate that I had since I was born. I don't know why I had it, I just had it. And I said, yeah. So he asked me, well, go ahead and go play at the casino. It's right across the border. And I'll call you when I'm ready.
All right, so hold on. So this guy's asking you a lot of questions, okay? And you're still thinking, a lot of questions that he probably wouldn't normally ask you. And you're still saying, okay, well, I'm good.
Right.
At what point did you start seeing that these questions might be, a little bit too much, overboard?
Well, when he came back to the car and he was really upset, and he said that he had some business to take care of. So that's what kind of started to raise a red flag. But then I was thinking like, okay, well, whatever business he has to take care of, he's keeping me away from it because he's asking me to go play at the casino. He's going to give me some money to go play at the casino. So I was upset, but I felt like at the same time he was keeping me safe. So that's why I went ahead and was like, okay, so I'll go ahead and play at the casino. And as I stated, I did not know that there were casinos in Detroit at the time. And so I go to the casino, I park, and he's been there before, at least that's what he tells me. And he's like, okay, so when you go there, you can just, you can park, the parking is here. He kind of gave me directions, and I said, okay. So I go to the casino, I'm playing, I have a couple of drinks, I'm talking to these older ladies, having a good time. And he calls me, he said, okay, you can come and pick me up. Okay, so I go pick him up. So, I go, trade him my money, and then I'm on my way back. And when I'm on my way back, you're going through the checkpoints and everything. And he calls me and we're talking, and, he's like, oh, I love you. And I can't wait to see you. And I'm like, okay, still, I'm thinking that he kept me out of his business, whatever that was. So as I went across the border, I understand that they have to do their checks, no big deal. And when they searched my car, they had me open the trunk, and they did, everything normal. But when they closed the trunk, I saw a woman agent coming towards me, and automatically she asked me to step out the car. And
okay, hold on. So now we at the point where, okay, you at the border, and they're stopping you. How is he acting? Everybody say hello to Mo B first of all.
Hey, Mo.
Hey, Mario.
Hey, Mo.
How is he acting?
He was never there. He remember, no, he left me to go by myself because he had some business to take care of.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why I was thinking I was upset. But once he says that he has some business to take care of, yeah, I'm upset that he's telling me this, but okay, we'll deal with that after he finishes business. I'm going to go ahead and go to the casino, possibly with some money. And that's kind of how I took it. So he wasn't with me the whole time. Then after I went across the border, the lady asked me to step out. I asked her what was the reason that she asked me to step out. And they said it was just a check. And I said, okay. So they take me and into the station, and I'm sitting there, and I felt that something was wrong because I saw all the other cars, going through, and they asked me, how they ask you for your visit, what was the reason for your visit? I told them that I was there at the casino. And so it was this warrant that I hid out for my arrest when someone stole my identity like years ago, and I have reported that. So I had this little card that I would carry with me in case I ever got pulled over to show that this is identity theft case and this is what it is. So that's what I was thinking, like, oh my God, are they ready to take me to New Mexico? This is identity theft case. So that kind of popped in my mind as well. So as I sat there, I don't know how much time went past, but I felt sick to my stomach because either way, it's just something wasn't sitting right with me. And then so they take me in the other room and they pat me down. And another lady came in and she asked me that I smoke weed. And I said, no, I don't smoke weed. And she said, are you sure? I said, I'm positive. If you want to give me a drug test, you can, whatever you need to do. I don't smoke weed. But they smoked the weed in the car when he smoked the whole ride there. So that's what I'm thinking. Like they smelled the weed because he smoked all the way there to Detroit. So when I'm standing there and I'm telling the lady, like, you can, give me a drug test, whatever you need to do. I'm willing to cooperate with you. I don't have anything to hide. So another guard comes outside of the door and I see the guard shake her head. And then so she automatically tells me to follow her. And then they put me in this holding facility or, where they would keep people. And I'm sitting there what seemed like a lifetime. Like I couldn't breathe. I didn't know. I just didn't know. I'm just sitting in this room like, what is going on? That moment right there, even to think about it right now, just sends chills through me because to think about how I was feeling at that moment really just broke me down. So when the agent walked in, he says, you're in trouble. And I said, in trouble for what? And he said, you're in trouble. I said, okay, for what? He said, we just found 2 kilos of ecstasy in your car.
Wow. Hold up. Kevin had a question for you.
Wow.
Yeah. Did it ever dawn on you when he said take care of business? You'd ask him what business was he in?
Well, I knew that he was in a business that I probably shouldn't have been around, but I didn't know how deep. You know what I mean?
What business did you think he was in?
Well, I knew that he was affiliated with people that sold drugs, but I also knew that. He was a guy that I dated. I lived in Indianapolis and he lived in Gary. So I would see him occasionally. So it wasn't like we had like this. We didn't live together. We didn't have like a relationship where he involved me in anything. So let me put that way. So he didn't never go and, as people would say, pillow talk. He didn't tell me any of those things. When we were together, I would come and see him on the weekend. Never came to Indianapolis to see me. I didn't allow him to come to my home because I had kids. So that's kind of, what it was. But also, I just didn't know how deep he was in or what it was that was going on. Now, I do know that I had found that, people would tell me like, oh, well, I don't think he's good for you. But I didn't know the extent of whatever he was doing when I wasn't with him.
I don't mean to be rude, but if you knew he was doing something illegal and you were with him, did you not think that would harm you too?
Well, yes. So I will say this at that time, because whenever we were together, he never did anything illegal around me, to my knowledge. So it was just one of those things when we were together, we slept together. That's all that it was. So,
but you knew he was a drug dealer.
Yeah, I knew he was. Yeah, I did know that. And so, but when we were together, to my knowledge, I never seen him sell drugs. I never seen him do anything because we didn't go out. It wasn't nothing like that,
Well, he kept the respect. He kept the respect.
Like when we were together. Yeah. Like I didn't ask him questions and he didn't ask me questions.
There you go. Hey, one of our listeners says, you think they planted the drugs at the casino?
Well, I really would like to hear the rest of the story because, I have some questions too, but I want to
ask the questions as she goes along. Okay. I mean, because see, there's certain moments where she's already saying, Kevin and I both, it's like, well, hold on. If this, what about that? You know what I'm saying?
But this is the thing that I'm curious about. He stayed on the U.S. side and you went to Canada, right? I'm not understanding why he sent you over there with the drugs when he probably needed the drugs where he was at?
So, okay, so I can fast forward it, to make it all make sense, because that's kind of, so when I got to, they did, to answer that call, that viewer's question, they did plant the drugs in my car while I was at the casino,
Wow.
but I didn't know that.
Right.
I didn't know that until everything went down.
Mhm.
So, and I was very, very naive. I honestly, I fell in love with this guy and I trusted him. And
Right.
so I felt like he said all the right things to get me right where he wanted. And I was very naive. I didn't think that he would put me in that situation. But after everything went down, it all started to make sense. Like some of the questions that he had asked me like months before. So it was kind of I don't know if he came into this, wanting me to do that, but eventually that's what it turned into. And so, but now I see how naive I was and how I was just blinded. Like I didn't want to believe that he would put me in that situation. And so, when I got so that's when the to fast to go back, when he told me that they had the 2 kilos, they found 2 kilos of ecstasy in my car. He says, you can either cooperate or you can do 20 years. And so, yeah. So
I'm cooperating, man. Shit.
Yeah, I said, so I'm willing to do whatever it is that you want me to do, because I'm a single mom, I work, and I'm not a drug dealer. So whatever it is that, and I didn't put the pills in my car, and I didn't give anybody permission to put the pills in my car. So let's go. If you want to call me a snitch, call me whatever, but these are not mine, and I don't want to take the rap for it.
So what do you think? So as you started not to take the rap, did you ever think about what might happen if you told on him?
Yes. And that scared me to death. That scared me to death because it was so much. I'm sorry. I still get emotional. There was so much going through my mind because I was thinking, like, if I don't know much about him to even tell on him, all I can do is tell what I know. And I was thinking, like, so if I tell on him, will they come after me? Will, him and his friends come after me and my kids? Gary is small, so, it's not like it's hard. My name is like, it's not like I have my name isn't popular. So, it's not hard to find me pretty much. So, all of those things were going through my mind. But at the end of the day, I just knew that I didn't do this and I didn't give anybody permission to do it. So I was just, trusting God. That's all that I could do. And so when they took me inside the room, they started to question me. And when they started to question me, so at this time, again, I was naive. I didn't know anything about good cop, bad cop. So there was a lady in there, there was a man in there. It was a white lady, it was a black man. And so the black man was on my side, the white lady was against me. That's kind of how I felt. And when they went in there, they was asking me questions. I said, I'm willing to cooperate. I did not give anybody permission to put these pills in my car. And I keep telling them, these are not mine. Well, in the midst of all of that, my cell phone rings and it's a Chicago number. I don't know the Chicago number. I don't know, and they told me to answer it. So when I answer it, it's a female on the other line. And so she's like, where are you? And I said, well, who is this? And she tells me her name. And so when I realized who she is, she's the girl that I saw in the truck with her, before I went across the border. When he got out,
get out of here.
I was like, okay, so she was asking me where I'm at. So the agents are hearing the conversation, and they say, well, tell her you are at you're with a guy that you met at the casino and you all are at the IHOP. And I said, okay. And so I'm cooperating, right? And so I tell her that, and she was like, okay. And then the phone hang up. So we had very, very bad reception there. And so they get this. I mean, they're moving fast. They're trying to like set up this thing. You know, we're gonna have. Are you? So you're gonna go to the IHOP. You know, we're going to go do this. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So when they take me, before they take me to put me back in my car, they have one of the agents that's going to ride with me. That's a man that I met at the casino. And so when they took me in the back, they have these 2 big bags of ecstasy pills. That's when reality hit, because this I lost it. I mean, y'all, I lost it. I cried and cried and cried because I'm like, this is my life. Like, I just wanted to go home. And so we go and we're driving, and now my phone is ringing, but for some reason I'm not having any reception, but they can see that I'm still cooperating with them. So we go to the IHOP. It's like right after the club, and everyone is like, you know how it is after the club, everybody's at the IHOP. But what's crazy is there's federal agents there that's in these nice trucks with rims, and they got their chains on. I mean, just normal people that you wouldn't even think that was a federal agent. And I mean, and they were, I don't know how fast they put it together, but they had it together. And so they tell me to call that number back. And we ended up leaving the IHOP, and I met them across the street from the CVS. When I met them across the street from, well, we drove to the CVS, and me and the agent, I parked my car. Let me go back. I parked my car at CVS, and I told the girl that my car was parked at CVS. I got in the vehicle of the agent's personal vehicle with 2 agents, and I got in a car with them. They drove across the street to a bank, and I was in the back seat. And all of this time, the guy that I came with did not try to call me. He didn't. I hadn't heard from him. None of that. Then I look up and I see him walking down the street on his way to the CVS. And I see him walk inside the CVS. Then I see him come outside of the CVS. And then he walks up to the back passenger door of the CVS. And then all of a sudden, all of these agents out of nowhere just start swarming in. They have me on the floor of the car, and as they're like driving in the grass, and I'm like literally on the floor, like crying, shaking, crying and shaking, and they arrest him. But and I did forget, when I was talking to them, they had saw a MoneyGram receipt where he had wired me some money that was in my purse. So they got his ID and they seen the MoneyGram receipt, and so they put 2 and 2 together, and then they arrested him.
This is crazy.
A horror story.
Lee Barnett says she can relate, but in sex trafficking. Francis Russell says you were in love. You should have trusted God with meeting this guy. Tree said, "What the fuck?" Ashley had them big eyes. He's like, "What?" Francis says, "You still shouldn't be sharing this. FBI will forever tap into your phones." Byron said, "Many times the screwing you get isn't worth the screwing you get." 100.
Wow.
Ashley said they probably was doing it anyways. I mean, you know, as far as the whole situation, though, at least, you know, even though you were afraid, and even though you were, you had kids and everything like that, you did the right thing. You wanted to get that off of you and get it pointed to the person or the people that it truly belonged to. All right, and it could have been a lot worse. Did you wind up spending time in jail?
Yes. So I ended up spending 7 years. Well, I was sentenced to 8 years and 4 months in prison. I did 7 years. And how they got me was that night when they took us back to the Border Patrol. Again, they were playing good cop, bad cop, and the guy said, "Well, one of the agents." I have to important part when they took me back. When they took me back. And they told me that whoever that girl was that called me, one of the agents heard her name, a whole different agent, a third agent heard her name and said, "Oh, I know her." He was like, "I have a whole file on her." He said, "She's, I call her coming across the border before."
What? So talking about you?
No. The girl that had
No,
called
the
me.
other girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he asked me her last name, and I said I didn't know because I didn't know her. I mean, I didn't know her, and he said, "Oh, I called her. I have a whole file on her, and I've called her coming across the border before." So, which I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So then we're going to fast forward back to now. I'm thinking, they have him. He's going to tell the truth that I don't have anything to do with it. They'll let me go home. So when I got home, I mean, not sorry, no, when I got home, I wanted to be home, but one night they came and they said, okay, so we need you to write a statement. I was naive, and I don't ever write a statement because you will be in big trouble. But I asked them, I said, what do I supposed to say? What do I supposed to say? And he told me what to say, and I wrote it. But then when he walked away, it wasn't sitting right with me. Then I added my part to it, and I forget what it says, but I added my part to it. But that statement is what really, led them to the conviction. I mean, where they were the feds, they probably would have won anyway because I took it to trial. I didn't want to take a guilty plea because my thing is I didn't have anything to hide. The truth.
You weren't guilty.
Yeah, the truth never. This is what I've learned out of all of this, even after dealing with the agents and hearing them lie. Only lies change. The truth never changes. And so I didn't have a reason to go in there and plead guilty to something that I didn't do. Now, had I said, okay, yeah, we can go across the border and I'll do this, and if I would have got caught, that would have been on me, and that would have been it. But I never agreed to it. I never had a conversation, to do that. So yeah, that's why, I went taking it to trial.
You know what? And I gotta say this too: the views expressed on the Dope Living TV Live are not necessarily the views of Dope Living or its affiliates. We're not, we're asking questions. Okay, you graciously allowed us to ask any questions that we wanted to. By no means is anybody on here judging you. Okay, there's nothing to judge. All right, if anything, we're compelled with the story. This is a very fascinating story. Francis Resto says, "I don't understand this young generation." God said, "If you lack wisdom, ask. He gives it freely." Low self-esteem to fall in love with a dead person in a dead situation. Tree says, "Girl, no, you didn't deserve that time in jail. So sorry. This is a hell of a story. Appreciate you sharing. This is a movie of the week. I don't know."
I just want to say, Jarita, you look young. So to 7 years pass, maybe even longer, you have to be very young. And people have to understand, young people, sometimes you don't see the things that you're walking into.
And I would agree with that. And I do have to mention when I met him, and when I always trust my gut instinct. No, I understand how to tap into that now, but back then, I heard a voice clear as day that told me that if you continue to talk to this guy, you're going to end up in trouble. And I ignored it. I remember we were right over on Fifth. I heard it. I remember where we were at. We were going over the tracks. I remember it clearly. But yeah, I was young, and I didn't know how to trust my instincts back then. But I will say, when they did let me go, he had gave me money, and I called myself like keeping some of them. I don't even remember. I didn't have a lot of money, but I remember putting $40 in my blue jean jacket. When they let me go, I was so happy to leave that I did have my purse, but I didn't have like this little bag that I would carry where I kept my wallet. I left everything there. And I just left. And then, so as I'm on my way back from Detroit, it's probably like 4:00 in the morning, 5:00 in the morning. I'm flying to Gary. Like I was trying to make it to Gary so fast. I'm calling my best friend. I'm calling people. I'm crying, telling them what happened. And as I look, I'm about to run out of gas, and I didn't have any money. I was like, oh my God, I don't have any gas. I don't have any money. Like, how am I going to make it there? When I remembered that $40, I stashed in my blue jean pocket. And I said, oh, thank you, God. So I pull over at the gas station, For the life of me, I could not remember how to open up the gas tank. That's how bad I was crying. And it was the guy in the gas station. He see me like I'm outside beating on the car. Couldn't get the gas cap open. I'm just going crazy. And then finally, when he was on his way out, I remember how to open up a gas tank. I'm like, that's how devastated I was. So when I put the gas in the car, I'm getting ready to get off on Broadway, I think it was, and I'm flying. And as I'm getting ready, I almost missed my exit. I almost run into the back of this truck. When I almost run into the back of the truck, it's these guys in the car. Now I don't know who they are, but they know who I am. And so they see me and they tell me to pull over. And when they tell me to pull over, I'm like, so I'm calling. I'm like, oh my God, it's these guys in this truck. They're telling me to pull over. Like, what do I do? So I'm like, I just got to pull over. And I pulled over at the gas station. So it's Sunday morning. It's early in the morning. Nobody's on the road but us two. And just these two cars. And I see a guy that's in the back jump over in the driver's seat. And he's literally holding on to the steering wheel. It's like moving up and down. And then I see another guy get out the car and he put a hoodie on his head, a black hoodie, and he put it on his head. And I see him stick the gun in his hoodie. And then he jumps in my car and he's asking me what's going on. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know you. He knows that I don't know him. He knows that, I don't know what it was. I don't know I don't know. I just was going off. I was like, I don't know you. I don't know anything that's going on. All I know is that they found these pills in my car and somebody needs to tell me something. And then he was like, what did you tell him? I said, what do you mean? What did I tell him? I don't know you. I don't know anything that's going on, but somebody needs to tell me something. And he just told me to keep my mouth shut and he got out the car. And when I got out the car, when he pulled off, oh my God, I took off and I made it back. I went back to the hotel that we were at. I stayed in that hotel room. I was so afraid to leave out of that hotel room because I didn't know what they knew. And I was scared. And then finally, I ended up leaving the hotel, went back home. But from that moment on, my life was never the same. So I would have to when I went to work, I had to call my mom. When I went to lunch, I had to call my mom. Because I later found out that nobody knew if he had told me anything, which he hadn't. He never told me anything, but nobody knew if he had told me anything. So whoever he was affiliated with at that time, I didn't know, and they didn't know that I didn't know. And so it was just kind of one of these things. But I later found out that they were asking about me and were trying to find out things about me. But, even when I told the agents, like, I don't know anything to tell you all. And I was kind of got to the point where I was like upset, like, you all need to do your job because this is going on with me. You all may know as much as I know. And so then I ended up, they let me go. And then they called me and they told me I was getting ready to get indicted. I was indicted and I needed to turn myself in.
At that time, how many kids did you have?
I have 4.
At that time?
Yeah, I had 4 at that time. And all of my kids were still young. My daughter was 6 at the time. That's my youngest. And so when I went and I turned myself in, they let me go. And when they let me go, I had an attorney and we kind of went through the whole thing. We went to trial. They didn't let us separate our cases. He never got out. They left him there. He never once said that I didn't have anything to do with it. He never said anything. And so I took it to trial. We both took it to trial. And I was thinking that some way, somehow during that trial that he would tell them, like, let her go. She doesn't have anything to do with this, but he never did that. And then I was found, it was 4 charges and I was found guilty on all 4 charges.
Oh
How old were you at that time?
All 4 charges?
Yeah, I was 31 at that time.
So you weren't young.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Real quick, Francis says, I offer Christ.
That is young.
If you don't have a relationship with him, you have a testimony to help some other young women. You must be careful. Byron Patton says, as long as you recognize your part in exercising questionable judgment and make corrections for your future, that's all that matters. You are not the first person to be lured by a flashy person and adventurous sex, and you won't be the last. When you know better, you should do better.
Yes, yes.
Well, Steph,
that is young, and honestly, I'm pretty sure some of us can think of some situations that could have gotten us in some bad spots as well.
Hell no,
myself.
not like that.
Yeah, and it is, and me as well. So when you were convicted, then what happened?
So when I was convicted, they gave me 30 days. They let me go. And it's not funny, but looking back, if they wanted to try to act like they were my friend, oh, we're going to give you 30 days to prepare, which was fine. I did appreciate that. So I went home, and I remember me and my daughter, she was going on 7 and we were driving in the car, and she says to me, so I told my kids everything. I didn't lie to them. I told them everything because I want them to learn from my mistakes. And so although they were young, I still needed to be completely honest with them. And so I remember riding in the car, and my daughter, she says, Mom, I'll be so happy when I turn 17. And I said, why? She said, because that's when you'll be home. And because at the time I was facing 10 years. And so that really hurt me, because I knew that at that young age, my daughter was in her mind calculating, like, my mother has to go away and I won't be able to see her until I'm 17. So when I went in, so I turned myself in. And when I went in, I was scared. I was so scared. They took me to the county jail in Indianapolis. That's why I had to turn myself in at the federal building. And they took me to the county jail. And when I got there, it was so horrible. It was so horrible. It was horrible. And I cried and I cried and I cried. It was so dirty. It was the worst. And they and when you are in a federal case, they single you out, so you have to wear these black and white stripes like you see, in the movies. And then I was there for a week. I didn't eat because I couldn't eat. It literally looked like they was serving vomit to me and this hard bologna. So I didn't eat. And when I finally got my commissary, I got a chance to, I brought things that you need, hygiene. With that day that I had to end up leaving, the federal agents were coming to transport me. Now, they never tell you where you're going. You just know that you're leaving. They lost my bag of clothes. So they did. So the clothes that I came in with, I had to end up wearing someone else's clothes, but I did have things that I have got off commissary. So, I ended up going. I went to another holding facility. I got transferred from there, went to the county jail in Detroit. And that was really horrible. When I got there, the officer, it was me and 3 other ladies. 2 other ladies were on drugs, and you could tell they were strung out on drugs. And so she made us stand next to each other and strip search. Like, she made us just take off everything right there in front of her, and we had to strip search. And it was, oh my God, it was the worst. And you know how they tell you have to squat and call. So I'm like, try to hurry up and get through it. And she made me do it again. And I was so mad, but what can I do? This is the officer. So, I hurried up, and then she came in, and she was trying to be nice to me, but it was, you're not my friend. So don't try to be nice to me. I was there for 90 days, and then I went to court. That's when I was found guilty again. And when I came back, everybody was asking, how much time did I have to do? And this girl gave me, she was like, so I wanted to just go in that room in my cell and go to sleep and sleep for 8 years. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to sleep, and I didn't want to wake up until it was time for me to come home. And this girl offered me, she was like, well, take this pill, it'll help you sleep. So I took the pill, and I felt like my heart was getting ready to just jump out of my chest. I don't know why I took it, but I was just so distraught. I just wanted to sleep. I later found out that she had gave me her seizure medicine. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I could not believe. So when I look back, I want to shake my own self for things that that I allowed to happen. But so when I get through all of that, I end up going to federal prison. That's when my time, believe it or not, got a little easier, because that's when I began to grow into myself. That's when I began to realize who Jaretha was. So that's when I began to understand that everything that happened before that time in federal prison was only preparing me for these 7 years that I had to do in prison. And so I did some time in Illinois. I did some time in California. When I did time in California, I didn't see my family for 3 years because it was too far to travel. Then I did my final time in Kentucky, and I got a chance to see my family just a little bit then.
That's this story is just this is mind blowing. I'm telling you, man. Mary Lee says, "I am so proud of you, Jaretha."
Yes.
Francis says, "Thank God she's still here." Destiny says, "I feel like no matter the age, nobody's perfect, and we all make questionable decisions.
Yes.
The point is to learn from those decisions and make better ones." I think you just answered Carl's question. What did you do to reconstruct your life? And Francis also says, "We messed up and made mistakes in life. Yes, times weren't like they are now. Our parents still disciplined us, and we were grown."
Yeah.
So as you reconstructed, okay, you got through, and again, thank you for sharing this story. And I hope the people that are listening, the audience, is really getting something from this. All right, because there's a lot of lessons to be learned from this story. Period.
Well,
go ahead, Maurice.
Well, the fact that you're here and you're able to tell this story right now is a beautiful thing already. You with clarity, with your mind being real clear now, and you see what happened when you went. What caused you to get incarcerated and stuff, and you're able to tell somebody else. The thing about that is you're able to tell other females, that those holes out there, you don't want them to fall in those same holes, and you could do it, and you could do it, and you're doing it with your head up. You knew that, hey, it was a mistake, and it wasn't me, and you're able to tell us that, and I personally believe that it wasn't you, that you made some honest mistakes. The law took advantage of youth and inexperience
and fear.
And fear. Oh, without a doubt.
This is a great comment right here. If you don't mess up, how do you learn? Now, true enough, what is that noise? True enough,
hey Greg, I think that was her son that commented on that.
Right, that was her son. I didn't want to say her son because I know her mother was on here as well. Didn't want to put anybody's names
I'm
out
sorry.
there. That's cool. That's cool.
Being in prison, you were one way before you got there, and then when you went to federal prison, how has that actually changed you? I know you said you grew once you went in there, but how did that actually change you, your mindset, and how did that get you ready for when you got out?
It changed me a lot. It helped me to realize, it helped me to see myself for who I am, because I had my first child when I was 16, my second child when I was 17. So I was a kid with kids. So I grew up, me and my oldest two kids grew up together, so to speak. And so, and I was in relationships. Now that I know that I was in these relationships looking for love from men when I had already had it in myself, but I didn't realize that until I went to prison, and it helped me just to tap into who I am, because like I love drawing, I love art, I love crafts, and all of that started to come together. I love to write, I love journalism, things like that. So it helped me to tap into myself, because this is what I told myself. I'm here for a reason. I'm not going to let this time define who I am. I'm going to come out a better person. So what I did was I started programs. I taught when I was in prison. And I had good prison jobs, so to speak, so like jobs that's hard for people to get in prison. I was able to obtain those jobs because I never allowed that situation to define who I am as a person. And but I also got a closer relationship with God. Like I went to church before then, but I didn't just turn to him because, oh, now, well, me, I'm in a situation. I was
Yes.
going to church and everything, but what it did was it helped me to build a stronger foundation with him. So I just look at life completely different. It helped me to be a better mom, to understand that, to let my mother know that she didn't do anything wrong because I saw how it hurted her. And then also I started programs and I would teach. So I started this program in one of the prisons where I was a greeter, and I had each person from every race, from each race that we had, and we would greet the new prisoners, and we would take them around. I don't like to say prisoners, let me say inmates. We would take them around, and we would, show them different areas, like this is what you need to do. You may meet somebody that says that, hey, we're going to give you this and this. We just kind of taught them the ins and outs. And I would give them, like, I even typed up a whole little thing that I had printed out where how to get commissary. And I had to even go to the prison staff, and I had to take them on the tour and show them everything that I wanted to present to the new inmates that were coming in. And so they let me do that. And I just found out recently that program is still going on, where we greet the inmates and kind of get them settled. But I also wanted to, my point was for doing that is for the women to understand that do not allow this time to do you. Do not look at the time that you have ahead. Take it one day at a time. You cannot live, on the outside. You have to live for this moment, because I would see ladies on the phone that would be crying and crying and crying. I had those moments. I did. But I also learned to understand that it's nothing that I can do at this moment, but just pray about it and trust God. And that's what I did. And so, and when I came home, I just felt like I could not just sit on the sideline and let my story go to waste, because I was so naive. And there's so many times that you can fall in love or fall for someone and find yourself in situations that you can't get yourself out of. So your life can change in a matter of seconds. And so I just felt like it was just always, my job and my duty to make people aware. I've always been drawn to talking to people and talking to, like, younger girls who just always, cling to me for some reason. And so now I kind of see, like, this is the reason. But it just helped me to find my purpose and to understand that I made a mistake, but I will learn from it, and I'll make sure that my kids, don't have to make the same mistakes that I made.
Once you got out, how was when you got out? How was your mindset, and how did you reacclimate yourself to society? Because when you're in prison, I'm sure it's like it's kind of like time stops, I would think. And then when you come out, everyone else kept moving forward, but for you, it was different. So how did that work?
Well, I have to say that the air smelled way different when I walked outside of those doors than it did in the inside. And so what I did was, again, I just always kept the mind frame that I will not let this moment define who I am as a woman. And so when I got there, I had to go to the halfway house, and they told me that, well, you can only get a job here, and you can only get a job there because you're a felon. And I was like, but it doesn't matter that I'm a felon. I still have skills. Like, I still want this job. Like, I don't have a problem with working at Burger King or any other place, but I don't want to work there. I want to do what I want to do. And that's how I was determined to show them that I'm not going to work here, because I had kids to take care of. So that money wasn't going to pay my bills. When I came home, I didn't get a pause to get my life together. The moment that I got home, I went right back into being a mother. Here you go, your kids. We're glad you're home, but here are your kids. And I totally understand that. I didn't want anybody to take that responsibility. But it was hard because I want people to understand that it was like I was an adult and I came home to absolutely nothing. So I didn't have my car. I couldn't fit the clothes that I used to have. I didn't have underwear. I didn't have socks. I didn't have anything. So everything had to start brand new. I came home in June. My daughter started school in August. So now I have to get a job. I have to make some money because my daughter has to go to school.
Mhm.
And I didn't want to depend on my family because these are my kids. And so I ended up getting a job. And so I went from I got my first job was at Amazon. I went from making 24 cents an hour to $12 an hour. So that was a lot of money. And so when I went and started, and then it was this position that I wanted at a company, and I was so afraid to apply for it because, oh my God, what if they find out, And so I said, you know what, I'm just going to take a leap of faith, and I'm going to do it because
all I can say is no.
Yeah, whatever God has for me, no man can take away. Then that was my
message.
So, I went and I applied for the job. I got the job, and I was there. But what I did realize is that I reached out to a lot of people who I thought were my friends, or who I thought that were and say, hey, I'm trying to get a job. Can I get a job? Is your job hiring? So what are you going to do? I know how to type. I know how to use all of these computers. I probably don't do as much as you. I know I have these skills. But so a lot of people turned their back on me. But when I would tell them, oh, I work here, they're like, you work there? You have a job there? And I'm telling you, them doors started to open for me because I never, ever let that moment define who I was. I got a job. I got a car. I started school. Within 6 months of me being out, I had a brand new apartment. So and it was a furnished apartment. Yeah, it was used furniture, but that's okay because it was still nice.
New to you.
My mother had like a brand new bedroom set that was in her that she never used, but it was all mine. I wasn't sleeping in a prison cell. And so I just kept moving. Like I never, and I still don't. I just kept moving. I was just like, I'm not about to sit around because if I did sit around and I did say, "Whoa, me," then they win. And I just was like, no, this is not going to define who I am.
Look at my Shiro over there. Look at the Shiro.
I was angry. I was angry. And I was like, you know what? I'm not about to let this stop me. So that's pretty much what it was.
Okay.
So take a suggestion.
At this time, hold on. We're going to wait a minute. We're going to refocus, regroup, and redirect. And we're going to get a few words from our life coach, Jeff Relaford.
You just got it all backwards, but okay.
I know it was all
She did. It was like, no, that's not it.
Did you hear my pause? I was like, that just ain't right.
It ain't right.
Redirect, regroup, refocus.
Jeff, if you watch it, man, she messed you up, dog. But here we go.
Life Coach Jeff coming to you real quick just to let you know about competition. That's today's word, competition. Now, look here. A lot of times when we're trying to go ahead and complete our goals, we always think that we have to compete against other people. Now, I know this can sometimes be referred to in business as competition, but you have to remember, really, you don't have any competition. The only person that you are competing with is you, yourself, I. That's it, number one. Because at the end of the day, those outside entities and forces cannot control what you are trying to do and what you are trying to accomplish. It doesn't matter what A person is doing over here or B person is doing over here. All that matters is that you stick to your own goals and you stick to your own dreams so you can get them done. So remember, speaking on competition, you don't have to compete against others. The only person you're competing against is you yourself. Life Coach Jeff, redirect, regroup, refocus, Dope Living TV Live. Peace out.
Very real. Relaford, redirect, regroup, refocus. I'm gonna get it right every time. Okay. He's on with us every day, Monday through Thursday, 7:00 to 8:30, with those little gems. All right. But we are talking with Jerika Lee. She is giving us a story of her journey. I mean, her journey has led her from really hell back out, and we appreciate you giving us this this time. Real quick, Carla Bug says, great job, Rita Lee. Capo says, powerful message. Carla says, most people who come out of captivity have the best work ethics and structure. Go ahead, Kevin.
I was gonna ask now, coming fast forward. My grandfather used to always ask this of me: how are you living right now?
I'm doing good. I'm really doing good. I have my podcast, The Walk My Truth, and that's pretty much where I want to have people to give people the opportunity to come on to share their story, because we all have a walk, we all have a story, but this is basically to give people the opportunity to share their walk. Because you can Google people or you can hear a lot of things from different people, but I just want to give people the opportunity to share their own story. And my kids are doing good. I cannot complain. I've truly been blessed. And so yeah,
I'm happy for you.
Jarita, I want to ask you.
Very happy for you. That story. That's I'm telling you, that is that's a movie of the week, man. I want to do the movie. Okay? I want to do the movie.
Yeah,
but I don't know if I can do it. I mean, this is
Do justice to it.
This is too much, man. I mean, you literally came from being what's the word? You were being found guilty, but you weren't guilty. The people that got you into this weren't saying a word. They weren't trying to help you out at all. All right.
Right.
Let me ask you: have you is that gentleman or the people are they still in jail?
I was going to ask the same question.
I believe he is. I think he's still incarcerated. I'm not for sure, but I believe he may still be incarcerated.
So have you seen any of his other people, since you got your new life?
I don't see anybody. I haven't.
To your knowledge.
Yeah, to my knowledge. Let me put it that way. And like the people that he may have been affiliated with, yeah, right. I don't know them to say anything different.
So before you went,
I've been out. Actually, June 2nd made 7 years. So just last week made 7 years.
Wow.
Number 7.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to ask her. So after you guys were arrested, this guy didn't even attempt to try to straighten anything out?
No. Not to my knowledge, he did. And I know, knowing what I know now is, I don't know if they were I don't know how they could have been trying to do it. If they were trying to use us against each other, I hope that's what it was. But if they wasn't, then he was trying to blame me.
Right. I knew the one mistake I heard was that making a statement without a lawyer being there.
That's crazy. That is truly a crazy story. Luciana says, thanks for your transparency, sis. You're a true blessing. Coming out of the fire, not smelling like smoke. Praise God.
Yes.
You are a miracle. Carla Buck says, do it. Maurice, proud of you. Look at this, all of this coming through. Stacy Johnson says, Rita, you've been a very positive inspiration in her life. I love the walk. Ron Reed, Voices and Opinions show. This is devastating. You didn't deserve that. You didn't do anything criminally wrong. Repercussions for hanging with criminals should be criminal repercussions, i.e. being robbed. The people that should have protected you, the justice system, actually harmed you more than the man did. Yeah. I'm seriously angry. Meanwhile, the cats that pressed you that night were free to knock somebody else upside the head. The justice system only cares about numbers.
Yeah, it's money.
A couple more here. Malik Schaefer gives your is this you? The walk my
Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook. So everybody get that, okay? Carla Bug says straighten it out. I'll put it back up there. Most don't. Lori McGrone, she says the story needs to be a movie. I want to do the movie, Lori. I really do want to do the movie. I just don't know if I can do it the way that it needs to be done. It'd be a slow walk for me.
That's a TP movie.
And that is something that I talked to Jarita about earlier. I've known her since she was a child. Also, Jaretha, you've started a book already, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you stopped, but then you're going back into it as well.
Yeah, so I started a book. Actually, I had started this book before I even met this guy. And I left the book at my grandmother's house. And I was writing because, as I stated, I love to write. I love journalism, and I just felt like it wasn't for, again, my gut. I just didn't feel like it was time for me to write that book.
Wow.
So then I left the book alone, and I left it at my grandmother's house. And then all of this happened, and I came, and all while I was incarcerated, I would meet random people that I didn't even see anymore. And they would say, "You should write that book." And then I'm like, "What happened to that lady that I'm like, she left." I'm like, I didn't even get a chance to talk to her that long, So it was just, so then when I came home, I started to write the book. Then my grandmother ended up giving me the book that I had started writing, and I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't even know that she still had this." And my grandmother told me, she was like, "I read your book. You should keep moving forward." So I have been working on it, but then I stopped. But I know that I'm destined to write that book because I started it way before then, and I have, like I told you all, just bits and pieces of it, but it was a lot more that went into that time before I even came out.
Miss Lee, you know Gina Gaston is the founder of the Distinguished Authors Guild.
She knows.
She represents and acknowledges literary pieces from all Black artists. And you need you to remember this: some of the most famous poets, entertainers, screenwriters, authors, engineers, teachers, all are located in one place and never been discovered. That's the graveyard. Do not let your story go to the grave with you. Write your book.
Somebody told me the same
screenwriter.
Exactly the same thing, Kevin. But yeah, he's right. And everybody on here that's commenting agrees, man. That story should be told. Gotta be told. I want to do it so bad. I want to.
My suggestion,
Jaretha, tell them not unless I'm part of it.
My suggestion is to write the book, because once you get the book and someone turns it into a movie, then it will be laid out the way that you want it to be seen.
There's the script right there. That book
and trust me, Tom Clancy's going through that now with Tom Cruise's movie, because they didn't get the rights from his children to tell this story.
Wow.
I tell you what, Jaretha, you do the book, that book out there. We'll help push it. And then by that time, I have enough people to help me do your movie.
Okay. That sounds like a deal.
We'll get that popping.
So you got 4 weeks to do your book.
I have to ask, and I'm sure others probably are wondering too, how did this affect your children, and what impact did it have on them?
Oh boy, it really affected my children. It still affects them to this day. Because I have 3 boys and 1 girl, and they're older. And then my daughter is the youngest. And so my sons always, I get it now, they always wanted to be the protector of me because, it's just always been us. And so like now, I see where it has affected them, because I feel like had I been there, like they're good kids, they're not in the streets, thank God. But I feel like they would, me being away, affected them mentally in some ways. And where I tell them, it's okay if you need to talk to somebody, you don't have to talk to me. I just try to encourage them, but it still affects them. But they're wonderful kids. They're doing good. We have a really good relationship. I'm always the joke about anything. So they're really good kids, but it has affected them. But I do have to say, when I came home, I didn't know how to grocery shop when I came home. Believe it or not, little things that you take for granted. And so when it was myself and my older 2 sons, and we went to the grocery store. And so we're all excited because I'm home. I'm going to try to cook. I haven't cooked in a long time. I've been cooking out of a microwave for 7 years, but I want to cook my kids a meal. And so as we're going through the grocery store, I stopped once because I'm overwhelmed. I'm in a grocery store, and it's like all like
choices.
cereals, all of this cereal, all of this meat. And so what I did was, instead of me going to pick up a pack of chicken, like a pack of chicken, I went to go look for chicken that was in the bag, like these little packages that, like we would have little packages of meat, little packages of chili. And so my son was like, "What is this?" I was like, "Oh, we don't have to eat out of this anymore." And when I looked in my shopping cart, everything was everything that I would buy on commissary. So it hurted, but thank God for my kids because they made a joke out of it to snap me out of the moment. But that's just kind of how it settled. Like I was still living like I was in prison. Like I had chips, I had Snickers, I had all of these snacks, and then when I went to go, I didn't think about fruit, vegetables, or any of that. Everything was still stuff that I would buy on commissary. And I was like, oh man. And that was another thing that helped me say, you know what, I will not, get it's still, I will not live like I'm in prison. So, but yeah, my kids are doing really good. I just, I always want the best for them as any, parent, but they're growing and they're learning, and I could tell that they're coming into their own, because what I've learned to do is not to keep holding on because I wasn't there. Like I've had to sit them down and say, look, I was gone. I apologize for it. We cannot get the time back, but we are going to be okay. So I didn't let it define me. So don't let it define who you are. So I think they're starting to get it. They're starting to get it now.
Lori says the book would be a bestseller.
Yes.
Barry says when she read the part of the book you started at her house, she knew you were a very talented person. Capo says you got to be in the movie. All right, no problem.
Oh, yeah, be in the movie without a doubt.
Francis, you can kill this comment right here. There's a producer and director of movies at my church. Nope, we got it right here.
You got one right here on the panel.
Kill it. Sorry. Francis. Let me do it one more time. Francis, no. He says the church that I not my church. Malik says, I remember this. And Cabo says, you got to laugh to live. Yeah, you know what?
I agree.
I could be, even before, my mind goes after I hear stuff like this. Even before you even do the book, we could do like a little documentary type thing, okay? With Malik, with Campo, with Mary, and all of those people in it. You telling the story just like you're telling the story right now, but we'll put some little. I don't want to tell the whole story because Francis gonna get somebody from her church to try to do it, okay? But it ain't gonna happen, Francis. Ain't gonna happen.
It's a male, isn't it?
Francis said, "Okay, I get it." Okay, Francis, yeah, because I'm surgical with this camera, girl. You better watch out. Anyway, yeah, this is such a it's a wonderful story. I mean, even though it had bad turns, look at you. You're sitting here, you smile, and you're happy, dimples deep as hell.
It's a family trait,
right? Right.
Listen to Marcy. She's so proud. She just Marcy all up in there. Okay, if I can't be in the movie, you ain't gonna be in the movie.
Nope.
Marcy, you could be in the movie too. You could be the white girl.
I knew that was coming.
You could be the white girl in the movie. You could be the white girl, the white prison officer, or something like that. Yeah, been down and call. Okay.
Anyway, you hear this?
Yes.
But you know what? Have you ever thought about doing a foundation doing motivational speaking, going to different schools, whether colleges or junior highs and high schools, and talking to our youth, about the challenges you've gone through and being naive. Because, when you're in junior high and you're in high school, you think, hey, the world is yours. Nothing's going to happen to me. And so have you thought about being a motivational speaker and going out, because you speak really well and you've actually gone through something
you feel emotional
versus just someone who just want to talk about things that they've never really experienced?
Yes, well, actually, I would. That is my goal is to start a foundation, because I would like to be a motivational speaker. I would like for the youth to learn from my mistakes, because in the world that we're living in today, people think that they have to look a certain way, act a certain way, and if my story can help anybody, as we all say, I would be so happy, because there are there's a lot more to my story, you know. We only have a certain amount of time, but there's a lot more to it. And I feel like if I could reach someone and help someone to understand their worth at a young age, I believe that they would get a lot further in life, because, and especially to hear from someone other than your parents.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a huge thing for me, because my mother, she did great, but that was my mother, you know. So, but to hear it from someone other than your parents, I would love to do that, because I want people to understand that it's okay to be naive. It's okay to be like this, but you have to learn to grow out of it.
Yes.
And to trust your instincts. So yes, I would definitely love to do that.
And you can't get stuck in what you've you know, you don't let your past define who you are.
Right.
And you're a great example of that. You've come through it, all right. You have this amazing spirit, number one, okay. But you know, you're trying to get your word out, okay. And you have a podcast called The Walk My Truth. That's on The Walk My Truth at gmail.com is how you can contact her as well. And you know, as you're telling your story, this is just me. I would encourage you to make sure that you're just as transparent as you have been with us, because that's the way that's going to compel people to listen more, to truthfully get the understanding about where you come from. Because you don't have to come out of everything. I mean, you don't have to come out on top all the time. Okay, you got to go through something to get to something. All right? And I think everybody on this panel has had a story. Okay, your story beats us all, really. Okay, you know, but not that it's a competition. Okay, but this is a story that we really need to hear. I got something for you, and I'll say it after the show is over. But you know, it's just a great thing that you are trying. Well, no, I'm not going to say trying. We don't use that word too much here either. That you are letting people know that this is what happened. But look at me now. I'm great. I'm awesome. I'm Greg Shiro. You know, you're Lori McGrone says you are definitely a relatable voice that the youth would listen to. Very articulate with your story too. Maurice Tate, we love you, Poochie.
Me, I'm not.
She's not Poochie.
I'm not Poochie.
Hell no.
I'm not Poochie.
No, actually, she's not.
You Poochie for the rest of the show. Yes, you are. For the rest of the show, you Poochie. You can bet that. Trust me on that one. Francis says, hit me up. I want to give you some info with the women ministry leader. If you choose to. You know Francis?
No, I don't. Well, I can't see her face, but
okay, well, I get everything. She's on Facebook, so just hit Francis Resto. She wants to get with the women's ministry. That'd be great too. I think the church would love to do that, Poochie. Maurice Tate's just laughing.
He's a nut.
What's up, Reese? So, Poochie, tell us now from this point. I'm gonna call you Poochie the rest of the show.
I see. It's okay.
No, it's not.
Couldn't you put that out there? Whoever
Can't you take a mile?
Maurice, you put it out there, bruh. It's all done. Don't laugh, Malik. That's Poochie. Poochie. We're gonna say that at the game.
Malik is wrong too for laughing.
Yeah, he is wrong.
I'm gonna get him too.
Right.
Gina said normally not Gina, but Marcella says Poochie is her mom. I generally would be reading all of this in the private chat, but we had to listen to this story. We had to get this story out.
True.
Marsh, whatever your name is, Marcia.
That's Marcy.
Okay, that says Marcia. Hit me up on Facebook. I'll read exactly what I see. Okay, that's baby Poochie for real. There go another one, Poochie.
And he getting a whooping too. Both
right.
Why they call you Poochie?
But they both getting whippings.
Yeah, where did Poochie come from?
Why they call you Poochie?
That's not my name.
Oh,
I didn't ask you that.
That's my mother's nickname.
Oh, that's your mom's nickname.
Yeah.
Read the private chat.
I'm not reading, man. Okay, well, Poochie which one is Poochie? Is that Mary?
No, Mary's my grandmother.
Okay, Respect, Grandma. You got your daughter doing her thing, okay? Your baby Poochie. That's what it is. Your baby Poochie. Malik says we don't. It's my Nana's name. Okay. All right. All right. So now that we piece together the family now because they jumping in. All right. We piece together who the family.
Oh, they all the whole family on here.
But it seems like all's well that ends well.
Yes.
And it hasn't ended. There's a lot more to go. So what's next for you?
So what's next for me? I just want to, like I stated before, I do want to start the foundation. I do want to do, I would love, and I will get my book published. And I just want to put my story out there. I would like for my podcast to grow because I would like for people to be able to share their story because just as you stated before, we all have a walk, we all have a story and, my story, your story, everybody's story is different. So I just want to grow and just, overall become a better person and help people. I love helping people and that's my goal. I feel like that's my purpose is to help people. And that's what I look forward to doing.
Good. Ron Reed says it's an awesome story. Please write your book. This story could save someone's life.
Yes.
Hey, want to thank all of you guys for tuning in. We got a lot of people: Lori McGrone, Francis Resto, Malik, Trisha, Stacy, Bobby, Carmen, Luciana, Young. Who else we got here? Just everybody on here. Jill Marie, got Ron Reed. Everybody, man. This was a story of inspiration. All right. I didn't expect all of this. I really didn't. Really didn't. Capo says you helped me chase after my goals.
Oh,
there you go. That's nice. Hey, Capo, holler at me, man, because I think how old is Capo? How old are you, Capo? You could tell me, Ma. I was asking, but you.
Oh, okay. I thought he's 21. He's 22.
22.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What does he do?
He works. I don't know the name of the company, but he works, and then he's.
Well, I don't want the name of the company.
Yeah, and then he's starting to. He's actually trying to start his own company. He likes his own moving company, so that's what he's been working on.
Or acting or something?
Moving.
A moving company, like he wants, a moving company. I keep telling him, he's really dark skinned and has he's 23. Oops.
Oh, you forgot?
Girl. Well, I got 4 kids. I forget sometimes, but I tell him he should be a model because I was like, they would love you, have a nice smile and everything, and he kind of laughs at me, but he'll get it. Moms know best.
Okay, I mean, it's we here at Dope Living TV Live, we like to help. We don't want to be too intrusive, but we like to help. We love to see people live out their dreams. So you guys have a family in us as well now. So whatever we can do to help your journey continue, Capos and Malik's and everybody else, let us know. Reach out to us. We may be able to help. We may not. All right. Capo says, I'm 23. I do music, and I'm trying to start my moving and landscape. There go that word. That word trying. Just do it, bro. Just do it. Just make that happen. Music, man, that's us here on Dope Living TV Live. Gotta let us know, bro. We got somebody in Vegas. We got somebody everywhere, man. So come on through. We gotta close this out. So it's gonna take some time for us to close out. I think there's some comments that have to be had here. So Maurice, let's start with you, bro.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, sis. This story is a perfect example of just because you stumble doesn't mean you have to fall, and you can rise and you can continue to do your greatest all the time.
Now, Jaretha, here's a moment we go around the horn and we let everybody speak their truth, speak their just speak. Your turn.
Well, I just want to keep it short and simple. And I think overall, I think it's just to believe in yourself and anything is possible, no matter what situation you may find yourself in. Just, never give up and always, continue to believe in yourself. And one that I always like to do is that if God put put me in this situation, he can definitely get me through it. So,
Absolutely, Kevin.
Yeah, for those that are listening to Mrs. Lee's story, you have to remember, you have two choices in life. You have chance and choice. You know, your choices reflect the chances you take, and the chances you take reflect the choices. Right now, Mrs. Lee is not where she want to be right now, but I know she's going to be where she needs to be sooner or later. So be prepared for a book, see her story, and know that you know, you could be a prisoner um, in one point of your life, but if you're a prisoner in your mind, you can never be free. And through this story, you see how freedom brings.
Good comment, brother. Marcelo.
Okay, you cannot always control what goes on in your life, but you can control how you react to it. Jaretha, I am so proud of you. I've known you since you were a baby. I am so proud of what you've gone through, where you are now, and where you are going to go to as you move forward. She took lemons that life gave her and made lemonade.
Yeah, I'm a little thirsty too. Gina, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I'll cut you. That's my baby.
I just have to say, this Jaretha's story can be anyone. There are choices that we make that we don't know that they're going to put us in a place where we don't want to be. It can happen. And, you know, a lot of people feel like, well, you made that choice. You chose, you know, this guy to be with, so on and so forth. But I know you didn't wake up thinking, I'm going to take drugs across the state to another country and go to jail. It's just something that came about in your life, and it wasn't by choice, and it wasn't something that you foresee. But one thing I can say, that your story can be and will be an inspiration to other people, not just women, but other people, because as a young age, even 30 is young, where you don't see what an outcome can be in 5, 10, even 7 years. And so this is a story that you can get young people to think about before they make decisions, because now they have something that's real. They have something that's real that they can relate to. So just keep talking your piece and telling your story, because I guarantee you it's going to touch others, and it's going to help others to realize, well, maybe I shouldn't do this. You know, it's going to open up their mind to see there are certain things maybe I shouldn't do, or let me stay away from certain people. I really appreciate you coming on and being so transparent with us, because it was very heart touching. I don't know that I could have told that story or shared that story if I had been through that. But one of the things that you did, you took it and you turned it around. You could have been a product of what you went through, and you weren't. So just keep standing strong, Jaretha.
Thank you.
First, I want to say, Maurice, I just told jokes, man. There's no disrespect whatsoever, okay? Just wanted to keep some levity in there. But you know what? This is a classic example of knowing your worth. You know, you came through, and you know you were naive, as you said, and got caught up in something that you never expected to happen. All right, but you came through it because you knew that there were better things in store for you. So you accepted it, even though you didn't want to. You accepted it. You kept moving. All right. You even did some things in jail to even start this journey that you're going on now. You greeted people. You started greeting those that came in just like you did, afraid and worried about what was going to happen, and you helped them out. All right. That shows the caliber of who you are. All right. You know your worth. So as you continue this journey, you know, and everybody that listens, all right, know who you are, know your worth, know what you are destined to do. Keep God first, foremost, because nothing can be done without Him. And after that, use what He's given you here, all right, to make sure that you continue the journey, the path that you've already created for yourself. And as you make this journey, touch people. Make sure that you're telling everybody, hey, don't do this. You're not telling them that per se, but you're showing them by example. You know what I mean? You could have easily just stopped and said, okay, well, this is it. I'm done. But no, you had kids that you had to remember, to take care of, okay? And as you came out, and look at what you're doing now, you're example to them, as well as a lot of other people, okay? Especially the audience that tunes in to Dope Living TV live every Monday through Thursday, 7 o'clock to 8:30, all right? Don't forget, we got the Dope Living TV Network coming up. If you want to be on Dope Living TV Network, hit us up. Anybody on this panel, just hit us up and let us know what you got, okay? Let us know what you want to do. We're going to push it, promote it, and make sure everybody knows who you are, what you're doing, and just help you live your dream out as well, okay?
Let me just add also.
She's going to add on also, because afterwards, everybody has their chance to speak, but
I'm speaking again because I can do that, okay?
Well, now, kids, come on, play nice.
I just want to add that we're going to have a part 2, because this was a segue into, do we trust the police? So we're going to get into that topic a little bit more deeper this week, so that Jaretha's story can segue into, whether we trust that they're going to help us when we make that call for them to come out. So there's a lot that can go around Jaretha's story, and a lot that can be said, and a lot of directions it could go in. But we're going to continue with part 2 on this.
Cool. Dope Living TV Live. We out.
All right.
Thank you, Jaretha. I'm sorry.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
No problem. You're welcome to come on anytime you get ready.
Thank you.
And don't forget, everybody, let me do this right, okay? Don't forget, everybody, check out Jaretha, okay? She has her own podcast, The Walk My Truth, all right? Check her out. Go to her page and her Facebook page, and you can find out all the details about this. And she's doing the thing, okay? She's telling her truth. So listen to it, learn from it, and let it guide you. Let it help you, all right? All right, this is Dope Living TV Live. We will see you guys tomorrow, all right? Peace out.